Hello and welcome to video 1 of Ignite Your Inner Healer. I'm Neil Cannon, your host for the show. It's not really a show, it's a series of videos, and in today's video we're going to be talking about inflammation, immunity, and your army of defenders. So I've already touched on this, and by the way, I was a little bit torn between doing this first or inspiration first, which is module 2. But I really feel this is necessary to get really clear on this, because without this, you might not be able to get the inspiration, because you might not have the knowing that your body is designed to heal itself. So in this video, I want to give you that confidence, that knowing that your body is constantly striving to be in a state of balance. And it's just kind of your job, our job, to kind of step out of the way and allow it to do what it's designed to do. So let's talk inflammation, my subject of the century. Really the subject of the book, The Vitality Secret: Defy Disease, Combat Common Illnesses and Stay Young. So, inflammation. As discussed in the previous video, it is really the simplest of ways of looking at it is your immune system trying to protect you. It's as if something enters your body that your body doesn't recognize, and it goes into a state of defense. It is really a very healthy thing. Without it, we die. The thing is, when this happens again and again and again and again and again, this is when your immune system is constantly in this kind of state of defense, and it's producing symptoms in your body, and depending on your genetic code, it's going to be a skin condition or IBS or migraines or prediabetes or obesity, low testosterone, you name it, for men. And this is really the focal point, because when we take out the intruders, the attackers, when we find out what they are, then the body is allowed and in the environment to heal. And it's much easier for it to do what it's designed to do. So very quickly, your army of defenders, your immune system, is always trying to keep you safe, always trying to protect you, constantly wanting to be in a state of balance. Your body is always wanting to be in a state of balance. And if there's something entering the body constantly, the immune system doesn't recognize, it's going to let you know very quickly. So your army of defenders are there to protect you. And for the most part, they are located in your gut. 70 to 80% of the immune system is located in and around gut lining. It's actually, the immune system is kind of throughout the body, but for the most part, the majority is in the gut. So the focal point of healing is really about your gut health. So you're probably thinking, okay, what could I possibly be consuming, or what could I be exposed to that might be causing an inflammatory effect on the body? First of all, you might be thinking, is this even happening? And a really great way of finding out if it is happening is to get a blood test. And there's a number of ones you can get. The main one for systemic inflammation, or for markers of inflammation, is C-reactive protein. I'd request that from your doctor. When we understand that the immune system might be under a state of attack, what also happens is, because there's so much energy going into protecting the body, it actually kind of crashes the immune system and doesn't make you very strong to deal with external bugs and viruses. So it's often the case in winter, for example, or over Christmas or the festive period, holiday season, when we start to kind of really load up on all these different foods and really not thinking about what we're doing, might have too much alcohol, and we're consuming all these things that don't really have much nutrient capacity, put it that lightly, and we just become overloaded with stuff that the body is trying to deal with, and it's not fueling the body or the immune system at the cellular level. So it's like a toxicity overload, and then what happens, someone else has a bug and our immune system's through the floor, so we're not strong to defend ourselves against that bug. A quick story from my own life. I went on this Tony Robbins thing about 2015, end of 2015, and I was in a room of 2,700 people for 6 days. I was actually told prior to attending to really load up on nutrients and look after my immune system, because everyone gets ill. And given I was already from fitness and nutrition anyway, I was doing that anyway, but I went the extra mile. And I was taking all of my micronutrient supplements, I was loading up on zinc, I was drinking plenty of pure water, I was vegetable juicing every single day, I didn't touch the hotel food, I was eating salads, and I took my own nutrition bars there, for example, and I was really loading up on nutrients every single day. end of 6 days, when it's really intensive, like 16 hours a day, your immune system is really put through its paces. Most people in that group, as far as I could see in the Facebook group afterwards, everyone was ill, except for one other person that I know of. And I met a lot of people. Obviously didn't meet 2,700 people, but for the most part, everyone's complaining about being sick. I was totally fine. And I just put that down to the fact that I was looking after my body, I was physically active, and I was constantly loading up on micronutrients. These micronutrients are vitamins and minerals from plant-based foods. I wasn't touching any inflammatory culprits, which I'll come on to in a second. The point is, I had a strong immune system. And the only other person who did the same who didn't get ill did the same thing as me. So, what might be causing you an inflammatory effect in your body? This is normally the first place to look. It might not be nutrition, but for the most part, it normally is the first place to look, because it's not just the nutrition that's going to cause this potential inflammatory effect. It could be an exposure in the environment. So what might be causing an inflammatory effect? What might be causing your immune system to go into a state of defense? First of all, we want to be eating as clean and as pure a diet as possible. We want it to be free from pesticides and herbicides, fungicides, insecticides, any of those chemicals. Anything that ends in "-ides" has the potential to create an inflammatory effect in the body. We want to go super clean. There are also called xenoestrogens, which are kind of environmental estrogens, which means for men, the estrogen can go up unfavorably, causing testosterone to drop off unfavorably. And for women, it can cause hormonal imbalance as well. In fact, you know, girls are starting their periods on average 2 years younger now than they were, I think, 2 decades ago. And guys or boys are starting later. And it's because of this hormonal effect of these xenoestrogens. Male fish are growing eggs in lakes and rivers. It's pretty crazy because there's feminizing effects in the environment. We want to be going as clean, as pure as we possibly can be to avoid the intake and exposure to these environmental challenges. So what else might there be? Trans fats, typically. To make this easy for you, I've come up with the 4 Fs. We want to be avoiding anything that is fried, fake, so anything processed. By the way, this is eliminating most of what we find in supermarket shelves. Anything that is foreign, so alien. We want to be looking at artificial flavorings, preservatives, all that kind of stuff. Just go super clean. And the last one is foul, which is really about environmental exposure. But when we go super clean, it's so incredible how fast and quickly, it's the same thing, the body adapts. And I want to talk about 2 staple culprits, which for me were really quite profound. The results were very, very quick. And I can tell you this has worked for so many people, not just those with skin conditions, but the other conditions I mentioned in other videos: prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, arthritis, gout, migraines, depression. When we take out these 2 things, amazing things can happen in the gut. So number 1, cow's milk. The clue for this comes from the fact that it's really designed for baby cows to grow fast. I've done a whole other series of videos on this, but I just want to get clear on something. It's really designed, it's a remarkably powerful nutrient if you're a baby cow. But when you're a human and we're feeding off these nutrients specifically designed for these baby cows to grow fast, this is when we can have an inflammatory effect on the body. For some people with allergies or skin conditions, they will just take out dairy and it goes away very, very quickly. For other people, it's not that as simple, but when we think about it being so beautifully designed for these baby cows to grow fast, to give them that massive boost in life, just like human breast milk is specifically designed for baby humans to grow fast. So just have a little think about that. See if you can swap over the milk for coconut or almond or hemp or rice or oat. There's a number of varieties now which are favorable compared with dairy. And you get plenty of calcium, by the way, from vegetables. So the other one is the modern hybridized wheat grain. If you're in America, this is definitely applicable to you. If you're in Europe, then it might not be as applicable to you. However, I can tell you from my own experience with working with people for 4 years, taking out gluten has been profound in getting results very, very fast. And just like the milk, you can replace the gluten with non-gluten alternatives. So start looking for paleo things, looking for things. Paleo is actually completely grain-free, but look for just a really good replacement for now for gluten. High quality, premium, when you can, breads, or even better still, you can take out the bread completely, take out the pasta completely, take out the breakfast cereal completely, but it might be too much right now for you to do that. It's just, that's what I did, but I was quite drastic. If you want to get drastic results, it requires drastic changes. You can try this for 7 days, see if it makes a change. If it doesn't, go back. You know, this is about testing, trying, testing, seeing what works for you, what doesn't. I just want you to know that it's much easier than you may think to replace gluten, replace dairy, or certainly cow's milk. Some might be okay with butter and cheese. It's the cow's milk that can pose the most problems for most people. So just start thinking creatively about how you can replace them. Then you don't have to think of it as a sacrifice, because when you think of it as a sacrifice, I've got to take that out of my life, and I've got to take that out of my life, I've got to take this, it's like it's destined to fail, pretty much. So think about as freeing your body from the effects of gluten, freeing yourself from the effects of dairy, and loading up on all the good stuff. And the good stuff is really predominantly plant-based: meat, fish, eggs. You know, have some if you're not a vegetarian or pescatarian, or well, pescatarian can eat fish. Vegan, for example. But the idea is we want to go as majority plant-based as we can, clean as we can, and you'll see an experience so fast in your diet, in your life, your energy go up and your symptoms starting to go away for most people. So I hope that's not been a total overload of information. It's way longer than I was hoping for it to be. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video called Inspiration. This is about getting really clear on your vision and the difference between motivation and inspiration. I want you to be able to go forward with this vision that propels you forward. It's like being inspired rather than being kicked into action. You now know the body is designed to heal. It is. I hope you know that. When you cut an arm, think what happens. It heals in a matter of days. Think of that happening internally. Happens very, very fast. We just need to step out of the way and allow the body to do what it's designed to do. So get going with that, and I'll see you in video 2.